You're watching Royal Report 24/7. Before we begin, if you think you've seen the full extent of Prince Andrew's fall from grace, prepare to witness its most intimate, and some would say, most heartbreaking chapter. This isn't about court cases or headlines. It's about a single, silent message sent into a void of celebration and the chilling response it received. Subscribe and hit the bell now, because the story of a royal Christmas reveals more about fractured bonds than any legal document ever could. Picture the scene. Sandringham House, Christmas Day. The scent of pine and roasting turkey. The soft glow of candlelight on ancient silver. The sound of layered conversations and the laughter of children. King Charles III presides over his first festive season as monarch, surrounded by his pared-down, working royal family. William, Catherine, and their 3 children form the vibrant, photogenic core of the future. It is a deliberate portrait of unity, continuity, and careful renewal. Now, hold that image in your mind, because approximately 46 miles away, in the vast, opulent, and increasingly isolated Royal Lodge in Windsor, another scene is unfolding. Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, is reportedly spending the day with a much smaller circle. The atmosphere is said to be subdued, the festivities muted. And according to multiple palace insiders and sources close to the family, it was from this quiet, separate world that Andrew chose to reach out, a gesture that has been described to us by one aide in a single, devastating word: pathetic. Tonight, we are piecing together the emotional anatomy of a snub that speaks volumes. The claim, from those who move within the royal orbit, is this: as the main royal family sat down for their traditional Christmas luncheon, Prince Andrew sent a heartfelt, carefully worded message of seasonal goodwill to the king and the wider family. This was not a public statement, but a private, digital dispatch, a text or an email sent into the heart of the gathering. The intent, insiders suggest, was one of familial connection, a digital knock on the door of a party from which he is now permanently excluded. The response, we are told, was not what he had hoped for. To understand the profound weight of this moment, you must first understand the sacred geography of a royal Christmas. For decades, under Queen Elizabeth II, Sandringham was the immutable festive headquarters. Everyone who was anyone gathered, a sometimes tense, but always united family tableau. Andrew was a fixture. His boisterous humor, his presence as the Queen's alleged favorite son, filled a corner of the room. His expulsion from this sacred space is the most tangible symbol of his exile. He is not just stripped of military titles and patronages. He is erased from the family's most important ritual, King Charles's decision to maintain the Sandringham Christmas. But with a guest list reflecting his slimmed-down monarchy, was a policy choice with a brutal personal edge. Andrew was not invited. The door was not just closed. The drawbridge was pulled up. What was in this pathetic message? Our sources indicate it was a classic seasonal note, wishing a Merry Christmas, expressing hope for a peaceful New Year, likely signed off with something like, "To all the family, from Andrew, Sarah, and the girls." On the surface, benign, but in the highly codified language of the royals, where every word is weighed, it was a loaded missile. It was, in essence, a reminder of his existence, a plea for acknowledgement, an attempt to insert himself, however virtually, into a picture from which he has been airbrushed. The reaction at Sandringham, as reported by our insiders, was a study in cold protocol. The message was received, likely by a private secretary's device. It was acknowledged with what is termed a formal receipt, not a warm, reciprocal phone call, not a jolly voice note from his brother or nephews, but a bureaucratic confirmation that the communication had arrived. The sentiment was effectively filed away, unanswered in any meaningful sense. The feast, the conversation, the celebration continued uninterrupted. His digital olive branch lay on the table, ignored. Why would this be described as pathetic? The cruelty of the description is intentional from the source. It reflects, they say, not the sentiment itself, but the staggering lack of self-awareness it represents. After the seismic scandals, the catastrophic BBC Newsnight interview, the multi-million-pound settlement, and the irreversible damage inflicted upon the institution's reputation, Andrew's attempt at a normal festive greeting is seen by some within the walls as a failure to comprehend the nuclear winter he has caused. It is the act of a man who still believes the rules of familial forgiveness apply to him, when in the eyes of the firm, he is no longer just an errant brother, but a catastrophic liability. The word pathetic captures the vast gulf between his perception of a situation and the monarchy's cold, institutional reality that lets delve deeper into the player's perspectives. For King Charles, this message was likely an unwelcome irritant on a day of symbolic importance. Charles's entire reign is a project of rehabilitation and modernization. Andrew represents the toxic past, the embodiment of privilege unchecked. To engage with the message personally would be to reopen a channel Charles is determined to keep sealed. The formal, icy acknowledgement is a masterclass in strategic distancing. It is the sovereign, not the brother, responding. For Prince William, the future king, the sentiment is even more hardened. William, sources say, views his uncle not with familial pity, but with a cold fury for the jeopardy in which he placed the monarchy. Andrew's presence, even digitally, at the Christmas table would be an affront to William's own family and the institution he is being groomed to protect. William is believed to be the foremost advocate for Andrew's permanent marginalization, making any warm response from Sandringham impossible. The chilling forecast from courtiers is that this will be the new normal. Andrew will remain in his gilded prison at Royal Lodge, sending his missives into the void on birthdays, at Easter, at Christmas. And the palace machine will continue to receive them, file them, and offer nothing in return but silence. It is a form of emotional solitary confinement, dressed in velvet. The message from Sandringham this Christmas was not in any words spoken. It was in the feast that went on without him. It was in the laughter that didn't pause. It was in the formal, digital void that swallowed his seasonal goodwill. For Prince Andrew, the punishment is no longer just legal or financial. It is profoundly, personally social. He has been unfriended in the most ancient, most brutal sense of the word that in the end, the most severe punishments are not decided by courts, but by dining tables. The story of A Christmas Message reveals the final, emotional verdict on a prince's fall. To follow the continuing isolation, the silent battles, and the real human cost behind the crown, you need to be with us. Subscribe to Royal Report 24/7, ring the bell, and share your thoughts below. Is this treatment a necessary protection of the monarchy or a cruel familial exile? We read every comment. We'll be here, watching as the walls of Royal Lodge grow ever thicker. Until next time, this is Royal Report 24/7, signing off.